thank you so much for having me here today. So, can you tell us a little about Energy Oasis and your role?
So I'm the founder of Energy Oasis. So I basically set the company up 13 years ago. Prior to setting up Energy Oasis, my background was in renewables. So we were doing predominantly commercial renewable installations, so solar PV, biomass, small scale wind. And the company that I was the business development director for, our whole business model was predicated on the subsidies the government were giving for creating electricity, so the feed-in tariff. And I realised that there was going to be an issue when those subsidies stopped, because people still weren't really embracing, the renewable energy sector. And if we didn't come up with an alternative solution to that, people would stop buying renewables. So I wanted to come up with a reason for them, or to create the cash within the business for them to be able to do solar or biomass or wind or whatever. I wanted to create a different business model.
And I think that, the whole thing around sustainability is such a key topic, isn't it? It always has been. I think it will be as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got sort of almost like two aspects to sustainability. As a business and businesses we deal with, everything we do is predicated around money. Yeah. And that's the reality. So what we do at Energy Oasis is we want to understand how you use your power and your heat, and then reduce that. So the most important thing to us is to look at a building holistically, or an area or an industrial estate, and understand how that power and heat is used, and then start to control it and reduce it as much as we can. The other aspect of sustainability is obviously net zero. Yeah. And the challenge with net zero is, if you're just, if as a business we just sold solar PV, the last thing I want you to do is to reduce the amount of electricity you use, because you can't sell you as much solar. Yeah. So that whole sustainability piece, if you follow that journey, if you do it logically, you'll have a positive return on investment. Yeah. If you're just, covering your roof of your factory with solar panels, and then you become more energy efficient after the event, effectively you're just exporting electricity into the grid, which you don't get paid a lot of money for. So there's no logic in that.
Wow. So as business and founder of Energy Oasis, what inspired you then to start the business, and what gap in the market were you in?
It's about, if you can only sell one technology, whether that's voltage optimization or solar PV or LED lighting, you've got to maximize that sale as a business. What we want to do for our clients is to reduce the whole energy envelope within their business. And the thing that inspired me, as I said, because the subsidies were coming to an end, we needed a reason why companies would embrace, effectively creating their own power on site and fixing that cost on their bottom line. And the way to do that was to be able to give them surplus money that they've been spending before on energy bills, to then invest in renewables. So the thing that inspired me was nobody was doing energy management at all. And, we were right at the front of the marketplace. And to be honest, when we started, it was really difficult, because the vast majority of businesses, electricity was 7p a kilowatt. Today it's 22.
It's not that now.
It's not that now. No. Well, actually, today, right now, it's about 28. But obviously, once this issue in the Gulf has sorted itself out, it'll come back down to probably about 23. But because energy was so cheap, the vast majority of businesses weren't really that interested. Carbon accounting or net zero wasn't a thing. So that wasn't here. So we had to provide a motivator, a lever, for those businesses to engage in renewables. And the way that we did that was by saving the money. So if we took, like a logistics business, for example, we can reduce the energy consumption of a logistics business by around about 70%. It takes us about 6 months to do that. So once we've done that, our business then has that bottom line revenue, which they can then invest in creating energy on the site.
That's amazing. So what do you think the biggest misconceptions are about businesses have about energy and about management and the journey to net zero? Because what you're talking about is solutions, isn't it? And managing and actually having a really sort of proactive approach. So what do you think then?
I think the biggest misconceptions are that, and it's not business's fault per se, it's a whole load of different rationales. So I think the biggest misconception is it just costs a load of money,
Yeah.
right? Yes, obviously everything in life costs money, but if you do this journey properly, you're using money that you've saved to actually pay for the renewables, which then saves you more money in turn. And I think because we've got the energy sector is very fragmented. So you've got energy brokers who effectively sell you electricity or gas or kerosene or whatever. Those guys don't want you to reduce that because they get paid commission for the term of the contract for the amount of energy they sell you. So they've got a vested interest in you using as much power as possible. That marketplace, we're not in charge of the cost of energy in the United Kingdom. That marketplace is global. So if the energy prices start going up, irrespective of how good your energy broker is, your costs are going to go up. The government have put more and more tax into the energy bill, and that tax is around 52% of the bill now. So that keeps going up, and there's no real way of reducing that tax unless you use less energy. So the brokerage marketplace is complex, but if you do it properly, you can save money. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't reduce your consumption. Then you've got lots of companies that sell just variable speed drive motors or power faction correction or all these other technologies, and they're trying to sell you a box. That's all they've got to sell.
Then it's not a one size fits all, is it?
You know, every single building's different,
Yeah,
which is why, you know, we've been doing this a long time now. We've been here for over 13 years, and, you know, to us it's common sense. But as somebody, you know, very famously said to me, common sense isn't that common. So we look at a building holistically, understand where the quick wins are, address those first, and then we start to work on this journey that'll take them to be energy independent. We want to get them as close to not buying any energy from the grid as we can, because that gives them security.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that, you know, the whole process, if you had a business that came to you, how long would that whole process take? I mean, how long do you work with the business to get them to where they need to be? It can be anything, can't it?
Well, the honest answer to that, Shad, is typically we have a 3 to 5 year program with all businesses. But the clients we started working with 13 years ago, we're still working with it today because the technology's changed. But it's a journey that just keeps going. But it's really exciting as well because, you know, things that we couldn't do, you know, 10 years ago, we can now do. Technologies have come new technologies have come into the marketplace. And for us, working with our clients is a partnership. We're there to help them save money. And the net result of them saving money is they get a carbon saving. And that carbon saving gives them a commercial advantage in the marketplace they're dealing with.
That's brilliant, which leads me on to what trends and innovations in the energy sector are you most excited about, and how is Energy Oasis actually positioning themselves for the future?
So the things that I'm really excited about, so obviously we've got creating renewable energy. It's no longer a sort of, oh, does it work or doesn't it work? We all know it works now, whether it's solar or wind or hydro. We all know how that works. We know that the grid is constrained. So the amount of electricity or gas that you can actually get out of our grid is getting smaller and smaller. And those private companies that run that are not, it's not in their interest to be, you know, to have businesses that are creating their own power. Yeah. So storage has always been a really big issue within the energy sector. And batteries have come along, which is great. So batteries have a role to play in that. The things I'm really excited about are, you know, where we create gas on site. So we can create, you know, if you've got a farm, for example, and you've got dairy cows, you know, you've got a problem which is called slurry or manure. We can take that problem, we can convert it into heat and power, and we can store it as a gas. And the great thing about gas is, if you put it in a tank, it'll be there for 12 months, 2 years, until you need it. The problem with the battery, or the reality of a battery, is it has to be charged and discharged every 24 hours. So you can't fill a battery up in the summer, kit with solar, keep that electricity in there until you need it in the winter. That doesn't work. But what I can do is I can turn it into either a gas like hydrogen. So we can create green hydrogen, we can stick it into a tank, and we can convert that green hydrogen either into a fuel to replace diesel and burn it in an engine like JCB are doing, or we can turn it back into electricity using a fuel cell. And those innovations are really exciting because what it ultimately means is we can work with businesses, we can reduce the amount of energy they use, which cuts the money off the bottom line. We can then generate that power so that they're buying very little electricity from the grid at all. And then the surplus we can store as a gas, and we can use that gas to either drive vehicles or to create or to turn back into electricity in the winter months when solar isn't working. So this space is a very exciting place to be.
Indeed, and it's exactly the solution, isn't it?
That's what we do.
I know, it is these are intelligent zero carbon solutions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is it? So anything else you want to share with our members, and how can they get in contact with yourselves and find out more about Energy Oasis?
Well, the best way to get hold of us is to either ring the office or email us. So if you email info@energyoasis.org.uk, we'll get the email and we'll respond to you straight away. I think the really important thing for businesses, it doesn't matter where you are on that journey. You know, we do everything from grid infrastructure upgrades. We do all the compliance. So we do ESOS, we do SECA, we do ISO 50001.
Oh, good.
So, you know, we do all the compliance pieces. And the great thing about ISO 50001 is, whilst it's fulfilling a compliance need, you get a nice tick as well. So it doesn't matter whether, there are lots of businesses out there that have got solar, they're installed maybe 10 or 15 years ago, nobody's looking after it. We'll come and look after it. We want to make it work again, but we also want to reduce that hour they're using. So, no matter where you are on that journey, we can help you.
That is amazing. I feel as if I've learned so much today. It's been a real eye-opener, and I'm sure lots of people are going to get in touch. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.